Hi, my name is Jonathan and I'm with Lancaster Limeworks. I'm going to show you today how to take a mortar sample so you can send it in for analysis. Now, when you come to your wall, and this is an example wall, you'll often see many different kinds of mortar. It's very important that you collect a sample from the original mortar or the mortar that you want to match. So in looking for the original mortar or the mortar that you want to match, the first thing to look for is evidence of previous repointings. If you look right here, you can see this really blue-gray mortar, which is probably obvious that it's not the original. You also have a sample here of a previous repointing, which is also more of a gray tone. But in this case, you also have mortars that are Portland-based mortars that are more closely matched to the original. And you can see here, you can see the way it's tooled, and it looks more modern. You can also see down here, this piece that's coming off. I don't know if I can get it off, but that piece right there. And you can tell because it's hard and what's behind it is nice and soft. That's the original mortar that you're looking for right there. You can also see some of it right here. And you can tell here how it's weathered. The old original lime mortars weather back from the bricks, and they're not slicked quite full like this is. So you can tell that, again, this is your original mortar here, and also down here. And now I'm going to show you how to collect the sample and get it ready to send in. Now I've identified the mortar that I'm going to remove for a sample, and I'm pointing to it right here. I can see that it's weathered back from the brick, and I can also see these vertical marks, which is, in this case, a sign of the original mortar. Here, you may be able to see some of these other mortars that are not original. These are Portland-based mortars. Some of them have been matched very well to the original, and some of them have not. So to extract, you need a couple of tools. Any old hammer will do, and just any screwdriver, or if you have a joint chisel, that will work too. You can also maybe use a putty knife if you don't have one of the other tools. I'm just going to use a hammer and a screwdriver. And before we start, what we recommend is taping a gallon-sized Ziploc bag to the wall with some painter's tape or masking tape to catch that sample as it falls out of the wall. So I've identified my sample, and I'm going to tape this bag here right under where I'm going to be removing. That's a way for it to catch into the bag and not go on the ground and you lose it. Then you can just start digging into it and prying out gently. Now, as you do this, you want to be careful that you don't damage your bricks. Then start from the other side and start taking off chunks and try to catch those in the bag. Now, if it all turns to powder, which sometimes that will happen, don't worry about it. Just try to collect as much of the powder as you can. That's why I recommend this taping the bag here, because it's easier to collect powder than it is to get it off the ground once it's fallen. You want to shoot for about a half a cup to a cup of mortar pieces and powder, because that gives us plenty to deal with when we're analyzing the mortar. Okay, now you can see I have a generous handful, about a half a cup sample here that I've collected from these joints. And I just want to point out that I was very careful to avoid the repointing, the patches of mortar that are not original. So you can untape it from the wall and then seal it up. And then we recommend writing on here, you know, north side sample or sample from the house wall, something along those lines, so you'll know what it is. And then just simply drop it into the envelope that we enclose and mail it off. And you're done.